stop it. Are we back? What is happening? No, stop this. What is happening? Did my internet die? Are we back? All right, are we back? Okay. Can I just get people in the chat to tell me if we're back? I don't know what the fuck just happened. I think Twitch died. Right? Is that the something? Okay, so Twitch just... All right, Twitch, thank you for giving me a heart attack. That's fun. I was truly about to lead into a great segment. So, strap yourselves in, because this is one of the big brain 400th IQ things that you will ever hear in order to deal with climate change. Louis Gohmert, talking to a House National Resource Committee combating climate change, talking to the National Forest Service and Bureau of Labor Management, says something that is so insane that it will blow your mind.
And I understand from what's been testified to the Forest Service and the BLM, you want very much to work on the issue of climate change. I was informed by the immediate past director of NASA that they have found that the moon's orbit is changing slightly, and so is the Earth's orbit around the sun. We know there's been significant solar flare activity. And so is there anything that the National Forest Service or BLM can do to...
Now, here's the thing. Before we go into this, the fact that he uses it as BLM is kind of weird, because BLM has a different type of connotation now. So if you're like listening to this, just this part of the clip, you think what he's asking is if the National Forest Service and like the Black Lives Matter movement can you load? Thank you. Are the ones that he's asking this question to, but it's not. He's asking the National Forest Service and the Bureau of Labor Management. He's about to ask them this particular question. Right, but not because of what BLM actually stands for, because of other things. But I need you guys to hold on. He's about to ask the National Forest Association and the Bureau of Labor Management a very important question on dealing with climate change.
Change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun. Obviously, that would have profound effects on our climate.
I'm going to play that back for you one more time. Louis fucking... This is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. That's what, telling everyone I'm back? Yeah, all right, we're back. Good. This is Louis Gohmert asking the Bureau of Labor Management and the National Forest Service if they could change the course, the orbital course of the moon or the Earth in order to deal with climate change. This might be my favorite clip I have ever seen in my entire... I'm sorry, the more you look at this, the stupider This man should be removed from Congress on this statement alone. What the actual... Holy fuck. I'm sorry. I hope you guys appreciate this. We are in IQ territory that has never been perceived on this planet And this is the first time I've seen this. Obviously, I had to see the context of the clip before I showed it to you. But, like, it is so much dumber the more you look at it. I'm going to. I just need a second to gather myself. I'm going to make it louder. I'm sorry. So, once again, for those of you who are all joining us, we're now watching Louis Gohmert. He is talking to the Bureau of Labor Management and the National Forest Service. He has prefaced this by saying that scientists have seen that the moon's orbit and the Earth's orbit around the sun have changed slightly, and that could lead to issues in climate change. He is going to preface this question based on that. And I'm sorry, there's a good chance I'm going to spend another 2 minutes laughing about how dumb this is.
Or BLM can do to change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun, obviously that would have profound effects on our climate.
I would have to follow up with you on that one, Mr. Gohmert.
Now look at this. This fucking woman is a goddamn cute. It's the Bureau of Labor Management. I don't know why he calls it BLM. He didn't mean Black Lives Matter. He meant the Bureau of Labor Management. But it is funnier if you think it's BLM. Look at this fucking woman's face. Like, what the fuck? The fact that this woman is not cackling in laughter is just like a goddamn credit to her. This is like...
Yeah. Well, if you figure out a way that you in the Forest Service can make that change.
First off, even if this was a question that you thought was like a possibility, even if on some level you thought this was a logical solution to climate change, that we would change the orbit of the moon or the Earth, why the fuck would you be asking the National Forest Service instead of like NASA? Because he prefaced this by saying, I've spoken to people at NASA. Why the fuck would you? I'm sorry. I hope someone clips this in the future and then the title of this is Louis Gohmert Breaks My Brain. Like, this isn't even dementia. This is somebody living in a parallel... I want somebody to ask him what train of thought led him to believe that the National Forest Service or the Bureau of Land Management was capable of altering the Earth's or the moon's orbit instead of asking NASA. This is... What the fuck? The more you think about this, the dumber it gets. Like... No, there's not even brains functioning in it. It's just a sack of meat. It's like, you know when they say that like people only have like 10 brain cells left? He has like 3 and they're working overtime. I'm sorry, this is like, I know this is too much into this bit, but it's like, it truly is so incredible that this clip exists. This man said this thing. Like, I would give any amount of money to be in to just see the reaction of everyone else in this meeting when he fucking said that. You know what? We're gonna look this up. So we're gonna look up the House National Resource Hearing. House National Resource Hearing on Climate Change. This is from February 11th. All right. I want to see if I can find this. 6/8/2021. I can't. This is so stupid. Wait, is this a thing? Are these, like, I know he said some dumb shit, but, like, are these other all right, I'm sorry we're like overloading on Louis Gohmert, but it really, like, I can't. It's too funny. I want to see the rest of this committee. What are these other statements? Louis Gohmert thinks global warming is good because it will need more plants. This can't be real. Oh, this is how long ago? 2015. Oh, to be fair, it's 6 years ago. Is this the whole clip? All right, I don't need to see that. This one is definitely real. Oh, look, guys, I don't know what to tell you here. There's the race is over. This man is the dumbest person in Congress, like ever. This is no longer debate. He needs to be removed from Congress immediately. Nobody this stupid should have any power. He needs to be in an institution where they can take care of him, because he clearly does not have the mental capacity to take care of himself. Like, where can I find this? Louis Gohmert tooth falling out. Was he one of the people who rushed the room?
Loves America and he
Wait, where does it have that actual clip? Oh, it was his crown that fell out. Okay. That's if my crown's fallen out a bunch of times. Holy shit. Guys, I think we need to watch this again. I'm sorry. To new viewers, this is not generally what I do. But this is a special occasion. This is the dumbest sentence you will hear from a living human being at any point in your lives. It is indisputable that this thought process. I think we need a documentary style investigation into what the fuck he was thinking. There is no reason anybody who has this train of thought should be anywhere near power. I'm sorry. It's just unbelievable. For those of you who just hopped in, this is Louis Gohmert talking to the National Forest Service and Bureau of Labor Management, which he calls BLM for some reason. He prefaced this by saying that he spoke to people at NASA. So he's already spoken to people at NASA. And then he said they are telling us that the moon's orbit and the sun's orbit and the Earth's orbit have changed slightly, and that might cause climate change. He's talking to a woman at the National Forest Service and says this incredible line.
Thing that the National Forest Service or BLM can do to change the course of the moon's orbit or the Earth's orbit around the sun, obviously that would have profound effects on our climate.
Here's what I want. I want some person, and okay, Champ Kid. I want, and I'm gonna put this up on Twitter too. And I don't have that much of a big, and I want somebody to do this. I want a person to draw up an actual proposal from the National Forest Service and the Bureau of Labor Management in order to change the Earth's orbit around the moon. And I want them to present it to Louis Gohmert. I would pay any amount of money to be at that meeting. That would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys remember this. You remember that town hall meeting they had a couple years ago where that woman was coming up and she was ranting about the illegals, and there's the guy in the green shirt who's fucking dying. That's going to be me this whole... I'm saving this clip. This is my favorite clip of all time now. I can't. Whenever I'm feeling sad, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to try to find if I... guy in green shirt laughing. This clip is just... This is me every time I see Louis Gohmert now. It just... Anytime you hear Louis Gohmert talk, you have to remember he asked the Forest Service and Labor Management to change the orbit of the world. He didn't ask fucking NASA, who gave him this information. He asked... This fucking guy. This is exactly how I feel.
You're in direct violation of being a jack.
Look at this fucking guy.
Does not change or defy immigration laws. It is Congress's job to change immigration laws.
All right, we're done with this. I'm sorry. It was just, there was too much. Hold on. Oh, the U.S. is going to buy the Pfizer coronavirus to send to the world. Yeah. So thank you all for bearing with me for this. I you know what? When I figure out how to do this, or if someone can help me explain to this, I want to make my intro to my stream now Louis Gohmert asking that. I want to figure out how to clip that and put it into my stream, like to the lead up in my stream. Because I've seen Dylan Burns do it for like songs and stuff. I want to know how to do that. I think that will make my streams infinitely better by having them open up with the dumbest thing ever said by a person in Congress. And now, you know what? Let me actually make it further. I challenge somebody to find a dumber statement that. All right, hold on. I gotta pull myself together. This is too fucking dumb. All right, welcome back to the stream. My name is David. This is Fresh Faces, New Ideas. That was a brief detour into La La Land, and now we're going to come back to reality. Reality is Texas is still fucking weird, man. These vaccine passports or vaccine information stuff, I don't get it. Like, what's the point? First off, the vaccine passport stuff is... The people who are arguing against it are just a lack of understanding that we already have them. They exist. You have to get certain vaccines to go to certain countries. You have to prove your vaccinations to go to public schools, to go to private schools, to go to colleges, to go to camps. So you already have to prove these things. So instead of that, no, they do not. No, they don't sound exactly like the Nazis. We literally have them. They already exist. If you compare them to the Nazis, you're just not understanding what history is. And this is something you weren't here for yesterday's stream, but I tossed somebody out of my... I banned the third person from my stream. Because people who compare vaccine passports en masse to what the Nazis did... No, it's not disgusting. It makes sense to have them. But I need to make this very clear because there's now more people in my chat than there was yesterday. If you compare in my chat and you compare, it's not authoritarianism. Stop saying stupid things. If you compare mandating masks to Nazi shit, I will toss you out immediately. You are too disrespectful to what actually happened there, and you are basically about as stupid as Louis Gohmert. We have vaccine passports for a reason. And for when you're traveling overseas, it's to make sure that you don't get infected with some of the diseases that are there. And the reason we have them in schools, and there are exceptions, if you are, there are people who can't take certain vaccines, so they have medical exceptions, and I think there's some religious exceptions to them. But other than that, you should be vaccinated, because if you're not, you're just needlessly exposing people to viruses. That's what this is. So yeah, I'm for advocating. Because here's the thing. People are not going to go to places. All right, man. I don't think that's on you. I think that you're making the wrong choice. I think we've actually discussed this. I think you're making the wrong choice. I think the vaccine should be mandatory, because we should not be held captive by stupid people. I want you to know, by not getting vaccinated, you are siding with the anti-vaxxers who believe the vaccine make you a magnet. Oh, and that it gives you 5G, which I have to tell you, I've been vaccinated for, when the hell did I get vaccinated? At least a month. And if anything, my Wi-Fi connection has gotten shittier. No. You see, the difference is with the vaccines and the abortion. If somebody gets an abortion, it's one person. If you don't get vaccinated and you get COVID and you're asymptomatic, you can kill lots of people. It's basically the splash damage. What is the splash damage from your decision? If you don't get vaccinated, the splash damage is you can kill a whole fuck ton of people. If you get an abortion, the splash damage is maybe the mother, and depending on how many kids there are. No, look. First off, before we discuss whether or not you have the right to kill the baby, we have to figure out what a baby is, because there's a cutoff point. So here, when a baby at 6 weeks, because in Texas, so if I was talking, if this law passed in Texas, their abortion law, and somebody in my chat is from Texas, and they decide to get an abortion while I'm advocating for the ability for people to get abortions, Texas law could possibly sue me on that. Somebody in Texas could sue me on that. So you have to understand what is a baby, and I don't think it's a baby until it's viable. If you could remove it and it's a viable fetus, then it's a baby. At 6 weeks, it's not a baby. It just isn't. It's not authoritarian to advocate for the health of your people. The difference is with the my body, my choice thing is, it's fine if it's only affecting your body. When you have a larger impact on the rest of the society, it's a different conversation. That's the difference. So, also, this comes down to part of the reason when places were opening up and they were they were fighting over the mass mandate stuff was I understand I don't have any rights to your body, but because you choose not to take care of yourself, you're now putting my life at risk. That's the difference. And also, this is how we get rid of diseases. There's a reason we got rid of things like smallpox. You absolutely can. Then, right there. Look, if you have the vaccine, you are technically safe from somewhere between 66 and I understand that. I understand spread of if you get the vaccine, you are somewhere between 66% if you take the Johnson & Johnson, and I think AstraZeneca is also 66%, but I'm not even sure AstraZeneca is approved in America. Or you're somewhere 95, 96% if you take the other two. Or whatever percentage the Sputnik and the China vaccine are. So there are these things called breakthrough infections. okay, look, I don't. Then it's a health thing. Just because. So the other thing to it is, just because I'm safe now doesn't mean that the people who are not going to take the vaccine won't end up with a variant that is more dangerous, that will break through at a faster or stronger rate and cause more damage to me, even though I'm infected. That's why more people need to be vaccinated, because it stops the virus from spreading and it stops the virus from mutating, which protects more people. Right. Then if you want to argue, look, I think having vaccine passports certain places should so when they say vaccine passports, it's a requirement that you have a vaccine to do certain things. Things like cruises, things like going on airplanes, things where you are likely to. I'm not violating your right. You getting a shot that will not harm you to help the people around you shouldn't be something you consider a violation of right. Do you also consider wearing a mask a violation of your rights? Because then shirts are a violation of your rights. I haven't even gotten to the video yet.
Texas is open 100%. And we want to make sure that you have the freedom to go where you want without limits. The Texas.
And it's not like the other thing with the mask is it's not limiting your rights. People didn't want to go to places. Okay, here's the other thing though. States. So Texas has vaccinated 36% of its population. Look, man. I don't think having a vaccination that's killed over 600,000 people, a vaccination to stop a disease that's killed over 600,000 people just in this country, is too much to ask that you get vaccinated so that you don't kill more people. I mean, what you're basically advocating for is my ability to kill as many people as I want because I don't want to get an injection. Look, the reason Texas had issues to begin with when they opened up and they opened the fuck, man, I lost my voice laughing too hard at the Gomer thing. The reason it doesn't matter if you what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, the reason Texas had some issues when it started was because of the mask thing. So if you're not going to be vaccinated, you should wear a mask. It's as simple as that. It's one of the two. I don't think these are hard things to ask. You either do the right thing to get protected, or you do it so that you don't spread it. And if these two things are too complicated for you, I'm sorry, man. You certainly shouldn't have access to a firearm. If wearing a mask, you're not getting vaccinated is too much, then you shouldn't have access to a firearm. Because that's a responsibility, because that will actively kill people. And these things will underlyingly kill people. We're not out of this. Look, there's enough data to prove that there aren't real side effects to this. Look, we're not talking about just the people who let it out or mismanaged handling it. We're talking about Did you get vaccinated while you were a soldier? I mean, I got the fresh cut a while ago. I don't know which cut you're talking about, brother. I think you haven't been here for a while. No, you were here like 2 days ago. All right, so here's another. Since this stream has turned into all the crazy things. I mean, it's just all craziness that we're discussing it. This is a fun little report. 3 in 10 Republicans believe Trump will be reinstated as president. Approximately 3. Yeah, but there's other governments that are corroborating this data. I think the first people who were able to get like true actual results based on the protection of the virus was Israel. And I'm told that criticizing Israel makes you an anti-Semite. So, I mean, I don't personally believe that, but, you know. Wait, brother, weren't you here like 2 days ago when we were talking about the impact of the World War II, the U.S. had a World War II? Was that somebody else? I thought that was you, right? That was definitely you. Anyway. Morning. So on this, I think they're still studying it. The what I've seen is. Okay, but like, why would they be lying about this to this level? I mean, there's enough, but because you have to argue that it's not just the government, you have to argue that all the doctors are in on this. The further you go down arguing who's going to lie to you, the more ridiculous it comes. As for the antibodies, I haven't looked up. So spread it forward. I'm going to have a conversation soon. I have to set this up with Feline Father, and he is a microbiologist, and like he does a lot of this COVID stuff. So I'm going to ask him because I haven't looked into the information about whether or not about how the if you had COVID, how the antibodies interact with the vaccine. From what limited understanding I have is we don't yet know how long the antibodies last, and my also understanding, and I would have to can't take his guns away. I don't know. The limited understanding I also have is that if you have the base strain of COVID, I think it's called the wild type. It sounds like a fucking Pokemon. I don't think it's evolved into something worse. I think if you get the baseline COVID, the antibodies are irrelevant to the newer strains. Because I think there's an India strain now, and they're worried about it becoming the dominant type. And this would be like the 6th strain since this fucking thing started. And we're probably gonna end up with another Brazil strain because they're having some fucking soccer tournament. What is it? Brazil. It's called Delta? What's called Delta? Yeah, the Copa Americana. Yeah, but look, the death rate is not the issue with this. It's not just that the death rate is not super high. It's the people who survive it have a lot of issues as well. I mean, Jason Tatum's the perfect example. This dude he's like a 23-year-old NBA superstar. Oh, that's what the India variant is called, the Delta variant. Um. See, I don't totally agree. I think you're being more conspiratorial. Anyway, this 30% of Americans is out of their fucking mind. The Morning Consult poll published on Wednesday found that, is this the poll? Can we actually see the poll? Okay. Generally speaking, you think the country is in the right direction? Do you approve or disapprove? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's what they're. So it's the Delta variant. Is there a more recent one than that one? I don't. No, I'm not trusting the entirety of the government, but I don't think it makes sense for them to lie to us in the way that you believe that they are. Like, I understand that there's some shitty things that the government does, but I think that because of the damage that this type of thing has done and the inability for it to the government to respond, for them not to actively protect the people in this way, they're going to end up with riots. All right. Anyway, I haven't looked at this. So let's see. More than 8 in 10 Democrats, 84%, and 70% of independents also dismissed the motion of May president effort to prove President Biden cheating the election. Right. No, look, I'm not arguing that. That's part of why there's vaccine hesitancy. That's why there's vaccine hesitancy among African Americans and among Latinos, is because of the what the fuck was the name of that program? It because I know what you're talking about. They did the same thing to soldiers. Look, this idea that Trump is going to come back in office is just fucking insane. I understand that, but as things stand, they're not these. Look, these vaccines are different. This is not the internment camps. These are not the LSD studies. This is a actual virus that the government needs to get under control so it can go back to doing whatever its normal business of world building is. That's where I think we differ. I'm not saying you're a conspiracy theorist. Everyone is right to be skeptical, but I think this skepticism is a little misplaced. I think that the benefits of it outweigh the risks. The problem with this Trump thing is that, besides being insane, there's no metric. There's nothing to do. There's no mechanism for this to happen. And look, I have to give you guys a heads up because in 3 days is the MAGA Frank rally. I don't know. In 3 days, it's the MAGA Frank rally. And we're going to be covering the MAGA Frank rally because you thought I was laughing at the Louis Gohmert thing. Wait till we cover the MAGA Frank rally. It's got Mike Lindell. It's got Donald Trump. It's got Dinesh D'Souza and his either wife or daughter, because I don't know and I'm not going to look it up. And Diamond and Silk. So we got some stuff. We can discuss these other things about authoritarianism and the government another time. But that's not the point. I don't think vaccine passports. I think they're They're good for people. This is a problem because like what happens with these people when their argument is in August? What happens to these people when in August he's still not fucking president? They're gonna get angry, and they're gonna keep getting angry, and eventually they're gonna get violent. Well, the reason for the war is profiteering. That's where that came from. So, there's that. So, this is a fun little bill that just got blocked. The paycheck fair. What the fuck? Give me a news article. This is the news article. Okay, so the Senate blocks the Democrats' the Dems' Paycheck Fairness Act. So they blocked it 49-50. 49 would imply one of two things because that's 99. So that means somebody didn't show up. Who didn't show up? Kristen fucking Gillibrand didn't show up for this vote. Like, first off, let's be clear. I want every single woman who is married to a Republican senator to ask them why they don't believe I should be paid the same as my male counterparts. Because every single Republican has said no. So the obvious answer to this is every single Republican woman, every single one of these female senators on the Republican side should have their paychecks cut so they are not paid the same. Because that's what you want. Look, the answer to solving a lot of the issues for our country is to make the people at top have to deal with the same things as the people at the bottom. It's why it's why you should have a single system of schooling, a general public system instead of a private system so that all the money goes into one system. It's why we should have a universal healthcare system so that they can't live on their private plan and just ignore what everyone else deals with. No person in Congress will ever have to worry about their medical needs being met at any point. It just won't happen. So look, even when they in 2017, when they tried to undo Obamacare, they did it with protecting themselves. Isn't the average for it is not it's like 70 cents on a dollar. I don't know the exact numbers of it, but this is just let's see what Tim Ryan has to say.
Hey, the Senate just voted down the Paycheck Fairness Act, which I supported in the House, passed the House, did not pass the Senate. The Senate is broken. I want to go there and make a difference and vote for things like the Paycheck Fairness Act, which is going to help women who work just as much as men in the same exact job get the pay they deserve. Women have borne the brunt of the pandemic, both on the health side and the economic side. It's time the Senate starts cutting women in on the deal.
I mean, that's true, though. Women have paid an overall aspect to this. Look, man, I don't... Like, a lot of these bills that they're blocking are just, like, no-brainers. Let's see if this says... What is this? Oh, no. I don't want to sign up to your bullshit. The bill was redundant and would burden small businesses. This was just to block the debate. So I don't have the data, and I know where you would get this. Yes, obviously there's class solidarity stuff here, but if it's designed to do the right thing, because this has generally been a I mean, look at this fucking face. No, really, so the child birth rate thing is something people bring up, but if you actually look through history, and every time a nation industrializes, their child birth rate actually goes down. Because people just don't have the time to do it because of industrialization. So it's not like a demanifying thing or something. There's more to it than that. So look, this is just another thing. It's not just talking about small businesses, though. It's larger businesses that are doing it, so it's easier to hide. Okay. Why would equal pay have an effect on child birth rates? And what is Look, really, you're not the big towel guy, right? Are you? No, she took his money. That's how she became the richest person in the world. And he's now richer than that. All right. So here's another thing that's worth talking about for workers. Chipotle. Chipotle has decided to hike their prices by 4%. And their argument is it's to roughly cover the cost of workers' wages. Look, first off, Jeff Bezos' money is all imaginary. It's all in stocks and assets that aren't tangible. That's why he paid like 1% in taxes, because you can't. There's no way to tax these things. That's part of the issue. So, like, his money doesn't exist. I mean, if the stock market, if Amazon crashes, like their stock crashes, besides the global impacts that would have, it would just bankrupt him because he has his money's all in stocks. Right? Yeah. Look, there's because they borrow money on that, and then it's more complicated than that. So, Chipotle is going to raise their prices, and everyone's going, oh no, because we've been told that if you raise your price to giving people fair wages would change the amount you pay for like a burger from like $5 to $30. I think all the rich should pay their fair share. Jeff Bezos is just a good example because he's like 4 times richer than she is. The man is going to the space on a spaceship program that he fucking built with government taxes, subsidies. So look, this price increase, and I do enjoy Chipotle a lot, is going to cost you like 20 cents more. And the amount of people that are going to get money for this, do I have the answer to this? I don't know how to comment on that. The freedom is, of course, important, but all advanced advanced economies have huge. Well, part of the problem with that also is that the younger generations are so in debt, and they can't break into the workforce in order to replace the aging populace. Because the things like unpaid internships and stuff like that, it's very difficult for the generations after them to create jobs and to work functioning work in the economy so that they can produce goods and they can replace the older generation, so it's not a big deal. So this is a capitalism issue too. No, because it's not the single. It's not a single factor, because generally when you industrialize, this happens in every industrialized nation. It has nothing to do with wage growth. It has to do with people changing their work habits and things like that. If you look at it, if you argue that only just improving women's wages is why you have wage growth, it's just missing a lot of the other information. So look, this is good. This is what I was saying. So I think in general the service industry, the restaurant industry is going to have the hardest time hiring people back. And the reason for that is they pay their workers dog shit. Fuck, man, this still is so loud. It's not supposed to be doing that. So you're advocating for just paying women less so they're fuck dolls? A way to improve look. I don't even know what you're saying, Dark Thoughts. The issue with the okay, but how would you do that? Because you can't survive on a single single household salary unless you're like really lucky and making $100K plus. So they have to work the two jobs. You would have to actually invest in women's healthcare, and you would have to invest in childcare and things like that in order to make it more feasibly acceptable and more financially possible for people to have children. The other thing is, younger generations don't want to have children because we can see the damage that's happening now. We understand that we're already burdened in debt and that we cannot afford to have children. We understand that the climate change issues and the problems that are going to come for it exist. We understand that there's a whole bunch of issues that are not being solved, and we have to try to either solve them or bring kids into the world. And we're choosing to try to solve them. Obviously, having more kids in the world would help, expand the population, but we're not in like we're not at any point where there's going to be a population decline. Like we're not at the point where we're worried about the human race becoming extinct. Okay, but we don't have a draft. Okay, but wages have been driven down. Actually, you know what? We're going to talk about this because we're going to talk about Art Laffer, because Art Laffer was recently on Fox News. The U.S. doesn't have a draft. So this is he was talking about people who deserve a federal minimum wage of $15 an hour. Now look, here's the issue with this. This idea that if they're not going to pay people now, they're going to automate them anyway. All right, now you're just being an idiot. Automation is coming. It's happening anyway. So this idea that we can't people because we're going to automate it anyway just doesn't make sense. They should be able to pay people because the automation is coming anyway. And they're going to, so we're just never going to raise people's, what the fuck are you even talking about? Here's the statement that's at issue. There's what draft? We haven't had a draft since Vietnam. Laffer was responding to a statement. So keep in mind, other countries have a much higher minimum wage, and their goods aren't more expensive than here. No, I'm talking about something else. If you want to send it to me, you can send me the draft legislation. This sounds like stuff from Israel. Oh, guys, here's another thing, because Darth Totes knows this because I've had this conversation with him. Join the Discord so that you guys we can have actual conversations about things. Last time I spoke to Darth Totes, we had, what was it, like 3 hours? Yeah, but I was told by Tucker Carlson that women in the military are bad. So it's actually good that we should feminize our... I've been told by Republicans that feminizing our workforce is bad. So I don't think it's sexist. I've been told, the Republican, the right wing, tell me that we need only macho men, and that anytime we put a woman in the military, we're actually losing to China. And I was told that acknowledging that gay people exist is, and that we might want them in the military, will also make us having gay people in the military will also make us weaker, and that's why we're losing to Russia. Yeah. But we're never going to get into an area where we're going to get into a ground war where that's going to be an issue. That just won't happen. Hold on. I'll check this later. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to take a look at that. Okay, this has nothing to do with me. All right, we'll talk about Art Laffer another time, because now we seem to have flipped the discussion to something. Give me a second to catch up. Okay, I don't care what Tucker Carlson says. I think that males and females should be draftable. Made sense back in the day. No, I mean, look, men could be nurses. Everyone could be a nurse, as long as you train them. I think my brother's roommate is an EMT. No, look, there's this idea of a draft is kind of like outdated, because that's not how yeah, but like we don't yeah, I mean, nurses make good money. I know a couple of EMTs and nurses. But look, you have to understand that we don't. The way warfare is waged now, there's like not going to be like there's not going to be a ground invasion of the U.S. Like the only way there's going to be a ground invasion is we like invade fucking Canada or Mexico. Like at this point, there's like they're never going to actually have a draft where there's a draft. It's like it's going to be different. It's not a. I mean, on its surface, yeah, everyone should be eligible to be in it if we ever need it, but we're not. It's just not going to be an issue that's going to exist where we would have a. Like, the only way we were going to have a draft where we would need some type of ground invasion is if we get invaded by fucking aliens. Like, warfare has changed. It's all cyber stuff and drones. We don't need a ground forces army. But I mean, we've kind of lost the point on a lot of this stuff that we've gone over. So I think, actually, you know what? Hold on 1 second. I got to put this video into the Discord so I have it forever because it's my favorite video ever. Hold on, I'll get to that argument, whatever was stated, in a second. I just have to make my favorite video ever. And if somebody knows how to make this video, the intro to my my stream, please talk to me, because I want it. I want it. And then I want my response to be laughing at it. Yeah, but that's an occupation force. You don't need to. You don't need to. You don't need to draft more soldiers than we already have. Like, the only reason you would need to draft more soldiers is if we're gonna have a like a super. Hold on. If we have a like a super suit army. That's not how it works. And if you're going to occupy territory because of the military force that we have, you can generally do it with a smaller group because you would have the technology. I mean, yes, that would be the dumbest thing in the case that we don't actually invest in cybersecurity or give a shit about it. And also it's not good because the increase in drones are less. I don't know how to say this. It's less accountability, and it makes it easier for you to demand the strikes because the person dropping the bomb is 6,000 miles away. So it's not like a huge issue. So yeah. Well, I had something else planned, but I started this stream. And then the stream crashed because fuck you, Twitch. And then we didn't get any new people. But we got more people chatting. What if we need to protect Taiwan 20 years from now? Well, then I imagine we'll have mecha soldiers for that. The police are starting to test mecha dogs. So I mean, the pace of technology is it's likely there'll be mecha soldiers in 20 years. We're just going to live in iRobot or RoboCop, one of those. I mean, it's all going to depend on technology. I mean, we're always going to have fresh bodies to throw at it, but having more technology would make them less effective. And the more firepower you have through technology, the less the humans you need even to be an occupying force, because you can just do it through robots. Which is a really weird turn that we ended up in when we were starting talking about the minimum wage. I don't think I missed any comments on that, did I? Alright, spread it forward at 9 views. Anything else you guys want to chat about? Just quick reminder for tonight, we do have the basketball stream. I'm going to be on the Productive Conversations podcast. So what might be the dumbest thing I've said? I'm sure I've said some pretty dumb things, but I don't know which you're referring to. Oh, you mean the increase in having tech would decrease the use of soldiers? That would just seem logical. Is this something you want to come on and debate me? But I have to know what you're actually referring to. I'm a little bored. I wouldn't debate that. I can always use some more content. I love getting stuff unlocked. It's fun. That's the beauty of this. We were so small. I can have these dumb fucking conversations with you guys. But yeah, we have yeah. So the podcast tonight is productive conversations. It'll be through Zoom. So I think I'll get the link around 7:38. Becca Soldiers, I didn't say it was gonna definitely happen. I said it's a possibility. Why couldn't we have some type of mech soldier? We don't know how. The technology, it moves at a crazy pace. All they need is one person to figure out a little bit, and then you could just bounce off of there. We don't know what type of technology or what AI is going to be like in 20 years. I mean, if you look back at where we've gone from the last 20 years, it's incredible. It's not an unreasonable statement that in 20 years we're not going to have mech soldiers. The last World War was like 70 years ago. Like, do you not understand? Like, understand how warfare has changed? Warfare has changed just from the last major conflict that the U.S. has started in Iraq and Afghanistan. We would be using more drones, and there would be less boots on the ground. That's why we have less boots on the ground, because we have more access to drones and things. All right, perfect, Herbert. I don't know if anybody... Do you don't like Iraq the country or just the war? I mean, I don't like Iraq. It's a pretty large statement. Also, welcome to the stream, buddy. You're a new name I haven't seen before. No, I don't think mech soldiers in 20 years is the dumbest thing I've ever said. I don't even know how far away we are from it now. That'd be interesting. Yeah, so the stream will be on. Okay, but then Vietnam wasn't a war. Then Korea wasn't a war. Oh, Horrific Cooper, thank you for the follow. Be sure to hop into the Discord so we can have other conversations or you can post stuff. Oh, that's not the Discord. That is my favorite clip of all time. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Although if you haven't seen that clip, I advise you watch it. It's like I had to stop stream for a couple of minutes because I lost my shit over it. Yeah, I know. How dare I say that they pay more taxes? That the horror of the rich people paying taxes. And I understand that, like, under the current tax bracket, it's not like what they're doing is legal. We have to change how we clarify assets and things. But yeah, so we have the stream tonight. I'll probably be on between 7:15 and 7:30 p.m. EST. That's when I'll start. I don't know how long it will go. I don't have the layout for it yet. I should have gotten. Do I have? Did he send us the layout? No, we don't have layout yet. What? You guys took a rack in a week or some shit. No, the problem. Right. No, it depends. It depends on how your definition of winning a war is. Your goal is just to obliterate your opponent. You don't need to have boots on the ground. To do what we wanted to do in Iraq, we had to go about it differently. And bombing the shit out of people was not an effective strategy. Well, yeah, of course we took them because we were way more militarily advanced than them. I mean, if we were just throwing bodies at it, it probably would have lost more people. But I mean, even now we would have lost. We probably would have wiped them out faster because we would have just hit their infrastructure with. It wasn't it? Horrific Herbert. I don't know if you know how to use Twitch better than I do, but like, I want somebody to help me figure out how to make that my opening because it's this. He wins. Louis Gohmert wins for the single stupidest thing ever uttered by a human being in the history of the country. That will be, I think, my favorite segment that I've done in a long time, is trying to understand the thought process of that statement. I wish we got more of that, like just the thought process. I don't think so. That didn't sound like somebody who's trolling would say, and also you have to understand the context of who said it. Sure. I will look at it. Let's see if I can I play it on stream? Is it what type of the video are you gonna send me? I do not like this overheating sound. Why is this happening? All right. If it's porn, you guys won't see it. So it doesn't matter. I can't show you porn. That's not how. That's against TOS. Also, porn is like super easy to find. Well, the answer will be you'll find out when you post it. That's not what I was looking for. This should not be so loud. Okay, well, I don't know what web you're looking at then. You can like literally type in porn into like Google search. Charlie Rose. He's discussing whether people have been abducted by aliens? What the fuck is this? Okay. Fucking, how do I want this link on a different? Give me 1 second to pull this up somewhere else. Okay. If you, actually, you know what? I want to play through this a little bit before I show it on stream. Make sure I'm not getting like rickrolled. Oh, Jay Smiles, thank you for the follow. How long is this? 27 minutes? Okay. All right, looks fine. I don't think this breaks TOS. Give me 1 second to put it in. All right, this will be the last segment unless something crazy happens.
Harvard University psychiatrist Dr. John Mack is a researcher of a subject that many scientists avoid. He studies people who say they have been kidnapped and sometimes sexually assaulted by aliens from space. A Pulitzer Prize-winning author, Dr. Mack, believes that his patients' experiences are real and are not the result of mental illness or some other identifiable cause. His account of their stories is called Abduction, and he joins me now, and I'm pleased to have him here. Welcome.
Good to be here.
You had to know that when write about this subject, you are moving into a sphere of great controversy and great incredulity. No matter what your credentials are, and no matter how many Pulitzer Prizes you have, and no matter how many degrees you have, it is a subject of enormous fascination, but also among huge section of the community that's looked at that incredulity because of the people who say they have had these experiences. No one ever sees any evidence. Tell me how you got involved in this, and why is it of interest to you?
Well, in this culture, evidence has come to mean some physical object that we can measure.
Wait, no, hold on. If you got abducted and got anal probed, I imagine there would be some evidence of this. I mean, it's the same thing that they can like tell with rape, especially if you're like never done anal before. There would be like evidence.
Take photographs of and be certain of its pedigree, where it came from. But I suspect in something which is as unacceptable as a reality as this phenomenon, no piece of physical evidence would satisfy anybody. We'd be arguing that whoever found it was hoaxing it or making it
No,
up.
look, if you could, is there? This is something I have no experience with, but I imagine like.
But evidence can also come from other ways. Evidence can, in my discipline, psychiatry, and I played my strong suit in doing this, is evidence that comes from clinical discrimination. And what I found was...
Look at clinical evidence.
Exactly. In other words, you look and you listen to what a person has to say about their experience, and you say, what could this be? And nothing in my 40 years of working with people prepared me for this phenomenon. It was what people were telling me with doubt, incredulity themselves. No one has, in spite of what critics say, anything to gain, as far as I can tell from this. Nobody wants to be a member of this.
Is that better?
They want to be found wrong, the people who have had these experiences. They want to be told this can't be.
Hold on.
There's another explanation for what happened to you, and here it is, and therefore nothing's wrong with you, and you're not part of some...
And these are people of sound mind, healthy people. By and large, they've been traumatized, many of them, by these experiences, but they're reporting in great detail narratives that are highly similar, which they have not gotten from the media. Most of these details are not in the media. They come forth reluctantly. They know who to talk to and who not to talk to, which is not true of people who have delusions, who have come up with something which is a reflection of a mental illness. And the only thing that I know that behaves like that is real experience, where something has actually happened to these people. Then the question is, what has happened?
Right.
And that's where I've taken it.
All right, but here, a couple of questions. One, did you approach it as a wanting to believe or as a huge skeptic?
I approached it as a huge skeptic. I mean, this is simply not possible. Charlie, when I started this, and I heard about these accounts of people, first of all, I was unfamiliar with the phenomenon until about 5 years ago. I came at it totally fresh.
I can't make it any
no
louder.
Investment in finding this to be true, not true. Didn't even know about it. And when I heard about these accounts, that there was this man, Bud Hopkins, in New York, who took seriously stories of people that said they'd been taken by alien beings into space. This is ridiculous. It's utter nonsense. This can't be.
Yeah, I can close the closed
To me,
captioning
it
off.
could not be. This is not something that is possible. There can't be that kind of intelligence working in our universe. There must be something different to explain this thing. So to me, in spite of what critics say, I didn't come to establish the truth of this, and I was warned not to say you take this seriously, and it was a long time. It was 2 years before I wrote or spoke publicly about this.
All right, tell me what your experience had been before that, just to give the audience a sense of who you were. I mean, you've written a book called Cultural Disorder. Was that the title of it? What was the title of the Pulitzer Prize-winning book?
Well,
about,
I wrote a biography of Lawrence of Arabia, the one that had so much to do with the current Middle East situation, and it was called
David Lean's great movie.
Yeah, Prince of Our Disorder. I've been interested in questions of human identity. I'm a psychoanalyst. I've done a number of clinical studies of human dreams, nightmares. I've been interested.
Well, we could look at that. That would be an interesting argument that the experiment has never been reproduced. When was this? This is about almost 30 years ago.
As a teenager, decide life is so hopeless they want to end it. I've worked a lot in areas of political psychology. What drives us to be so destructive collectively one to another? Nationalism, ethno-nationalism interests me. So
Why? Because I mean, imagine if you have a good rep, then you can,
you don't
and you do this, then you kind of quacky.
calculate this at the time. Grew out of this interest in some way. Who are we? Are we these isolated people tearing at each other, trying to carve up the earth for our own purposes, or do we have some larger, expanded human identity? Maybe someplace in the depth of my soul, there was something that resonated with this, but surely as a factual...
Wait, hold on. Do we have the actual information on what he studied? Like, what the methodology used?
This was simply not possible when I started this.
And when did you turn? When did you begin to say, I believe these people?
Or I take them seriously. The word belief is full of treachery here.
I know,
because
that's why I
it
was
has
using
a sense of...
Yeah, this is not...
part of...
This is interesting, Jess Miles. It's, it makes sense of the current stuff that we're going on for... with the UFOs. If there was repeated stuff and they had similar information, it'd be different. But I don't think there's anything else to that. All right, is there anything else anyone wants to discuss, or we're gonna call it here? Is that are we about done for the day? Because I got nothing else. All right, reminder, people, join the Discord, follow, like, subscribe, everything, all this shit on Twitter, Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, Fresh Faces, New Ideas, Twitter at Faces Ideas. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. We have a... Okay. Well, I mean, if it's been reproduced, whatever methodology he used, would be interesting to see that. Yeah, we got tomorrow. We have another. We're going to be on a panel with Crutchless Politics. I was talking to him. I think he briefly sent me something that I need to cover. Let me see what he sent me. Okay, so I'll look at that later. But yeah, all the new people who joined, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I highly advise anyone who's looking for a laugh to watch that video, the Louis Gohmert one. It's truly hysterical. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow. Actually, we'll be back tonight at either 7:15 or 7:30 p.m. I haven't decided yet when I'll start, but we'll be here. We'll be on a podcast discussing basketball. So for those of you who don't care about the politics stuff but want to hear me talk about basketball, we got that. And then tomorrow we'll be doing all politics stuff all day. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day, and I will see you later tonight.